All right, so good afternoon, everybody. 12:57 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, November 4th, 2022. We're gonna read the Trial of the Chicago Seven. Right now, we're playing the instrumental for the main song on the soundtrack as featured. It's the intro and the exit. It's one of those songs where they put it at the beginning and the first and at the end, so it's really cool. It's really cool. I want to get the soundtrack for. I think it was Get On Up. I mean that soundtrack, yeah, the actual soundtrack, like the original score is what I mean when I say soundtrack. The original score, the original score. Uh, So here we go. I was watching this movie last night twice. I just kind of fell asleep after I watched it the first time. I turned it on again and went to sleep and then woke up and it just maybe played it again. I don't know. And then just I think that time yeah. Anyway, one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's such a new film, so it's like it's definitely one of my favorite. Like it's definitely my favorite like Netflix film. It's a Netflix film. Besides The Irishman, there is no like better movie than this one. And like this is the bomb. Like I love this movie. So we're about to do this right now. Fade in. Lyndon Johnson addresses a television camera. File footage. I have today ordered to Vietnam Air Mobile Division and certain other forces which will raise our fighting strength from 75,000 to 125,000 almost immediately. This will make it necessary to increase our active fighting forces by raising the monthly draft from 17,000 to 35,000 per month. Music crashes in that will take us through the prologue, a nation coming off the rails. Interior lottery drawing day file footage. A few well-scrubbed young men from the Young Draft Advisory Committee. A few well-scrubbed young men from the Young Draft Advisory Committee stand over a goldfish bowl containing capsules. One of the young men pulls a capsule and reads it as if someone's won something. Young man, June 3rd. All those whose birthday falls on June 3rd. Interior, exterior, mailboxes day and night. Reporter number 1, voiceover. President Johnson announced new monthly draft totals increasing to 35,000 per month, 43,000 per month, 51,000 per month, 386 men, 386 men between the ages of 18 and 24 have now been called to duty. It should be incandescently clear that no one who has any concern for the integrity of life in America today can ignore the present war. If America's soul becomes poisoned, part of the autopsy must read Vietnam. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not hatred, but love and wisdom. So I ask you to return home and say a prayer for the family of Martin Luther King. April 22nd. All those whose birthday falls on April 22nd. We were there. We didn't see Vietnamese soldiers. What we saw were population centers, schoolhouses, pagodas, women and children. And that's American napalm. The women and children were burned alive. Tom, the Democratic Party is going to nominate Hubert Humphrey next month in Chicago. When it comes to the war, when it comes to social justice, there's simply not enough of a difference between Hubert Humphrey and Richard Nixon to make a difference. And so we're going to Chicago. Young people by busloads will go to Chicago to show our solidarity and our disgust, and most importantly, to get laid by someone you just met. 536,000 of us sent to a country not one of these bumper sticker patriots in Washington could find on a map with a motherfucking map. We're going to Chicago. Anyone who stays in the park, sees Woody Guthrie, they're gonna be fine. But the cops are gonna be a half inch from losing their fucking minds, because Daley's gonna wind them up to make sure of it. We're going to Chicago peacefully. We're going peacefully. But if we're met there with violence, you better believe we're gonna meet that violence with nonviolence. Always nonviolence. And that's without exception. So, what if the police start hitting you? What if the police start hitting you? Why would the police start hitting me? What if they do? I'll duck. Why? Okay. David, he watches the news. Why? You taught him to. Guys, I've organized 100 protests. This one isn't going to be any different, in that it almost certainly won't work. The police, I'm not worried about the police, and I'm not worried about Hayden and Rennie Davis. I'm worried about Hoffman and Rubin. It's the Democratic National Convention, honey. Every camera in America is going to be pointed at it, and Daley isn't going to let his city become a theater of war. And Hoffman and Rubin are geniuses in their own special way. Oh, Jesus. He's got a scout meeting tonight at 7. Dad, if the police try to arrest me, I'll do what I always do and what I've taught you to do. Which is what? Which is what? Tell me, bud. Very calmly and very politely. Fuck the motherfuckers up. They leave us alone and everything's cool. They tangle, disrupt, intimidate. They play it fast and loose with the First Amendment. Robert, they start breaking heads? Then no, we will not be on our merry way. You can't give this speech in Chicago. Fred Hampton wants me there. Let Fred give the speech. Between Hayden and Hoffman there could be 5,000 people. It would be nice to talk to 5,000 people. Not while you're in trouble in Connecticut. Yes, while I'm in trouble in... Sasha, I'm the head of the Black Panthers. Sandra. Yes, while I'm in trouble in... I'm the head of the Black Panthers, Sandra. When the hell am I not going to be in trouble? You're going to be in a lot more of it if you stand up and say, fry the pigs. If they attack you, you're taking it out of context. So will every white person in America. Cops won't give a shit about context, and you don't have enough protection in Chicago. There's no place to be right now but in it. But fry the pigs? If they, Dr. King is dead. He has a dream? Well, now he has a fucking bullet in his head. Martin's dead, Malcolm's dead, Meg is dead, Bobby's dead, Jesus is dead. They tried it peaceful. We're going to try something else. Sandra, I'll be there for 4 hours. That's it. See? You gonna at least take one of these? If I knew how to use that, then I wouldn't need to make speeches. It's named after the Russian commissar Vasilis. It's named after the Russian commissar Molotov, the VM Molotov. You start with a glass bottle, you pack the styrofoam, and now your cherry bomb. Some chewing gum around the top, and a fuse. It's almost completely dark. Is that Jerry? Yeah. Tell him to tell Abby that we're going to Chicago to end the war and not to fuck around. Tom says to tell Abby that we're going to Chicago to end the war and not to fuck around. Hayden says we're going to Chicago to end the war and not to fuck around. Tell Hayden I went to Brandeis and I can do both. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. It gave me like 3 to 5 seconds warning. That's crazy. It doesn't happen like that. People say, you know, Abby, are you concerned about an overreaction from the cops? I have issued by an order to shoot and kill any arsonist or anyone with a Molotov cocktail in his hand. We're not concerned about it. 4 units of the Illinois National Guard, totaling 5,000 troops, have been deployed to Chicago. We're counting on it. We want to underscore again that we're coming to Chicago peacefully, but whether we're given permits or not, we're coming. An additional 10,000 Chicago police officers, including riot squads. We are not going to storm the convention with tanks or mace, but we are going to storm the hearts and minds of the American people. These people are revolutionaries bent on the destruction of the United States of America. A democratic convention is about to begin in a police state. There just doesn't seem to be any other way to say it. Walter motherfucking Cronkite. Fade to Black title sequence, The Trial of the Chicago 7. You've arrived at a moment in history. Pardon me? They're changing the picture. Tom? Howard? You fluent all right? Sure. Richard Schultz? Yes, sir. Howard Ackerman, Special Advisor to the Attorney General. Pleased to meet you. Were you told what this is about? No, sir. Just to meet Mr. Ferren at the O'Hare this morning, that we were going to fly to Washington and that we were meeting Mr. Mitchell. Good. They're finally changing the picture. Come on in. As a matter of courtesy and tradition, when we elect a new president, the outgoing cabinet members resign to spare the new president the unpleasantness of firing them. You know when President Nixon received Ramsey Clark's formal letter of resignation? No, sir. About an hour before I was confirmed. That was to embarrass me. I don't know. I think it was more embarrassing for Ramsey Clark. I'm John Mitchell. Thomas Ferren, Mr. Attorney General, and this is Richard Schultz. Richard, Chicago is more fucked up than any 10 things I've ever seen in my life. Sir? The convention, the riots. Yes, sir. Johnny Walker okay with everybody? Thank you. Richard, nothing for me. Thank you. We don't know how Humphrey's people could have been that stupid. Allow their guy to get nominated under armed guard. You think that's what lost him the election? Sir? Son, are you nervous? No, sir. Why the fuck not? I'm kidding. Don't believe everything you've heard about me. Ramsey Clark gives me the finger on the way out the door. I'm asking if you think Chicago is why Humphrey lost the election. No, sir. I think the Republicans ran a better candidate. That's for damn sure. And Daley didn't help his party either, but Humphrey's people and Daley didn't break the law, so that's someone else's table. Well, as a matter of fact, sir, we don't believe any federal laws were broken. Last summer, Mr. Ferren had our office run a thorough investigation, plenty of trespassing, destruction of public property, lewd behavior, I suppose, but nothing's rising to the level of, do you think you and your boss are in the Attorney General's office because I want you to seek an indictment for violating a federal trespassing law? Sir, our office wasn't aware the Justice Department wanted to seek any indictments at all. We do. Ramsey Clark was dead set against bringing federal... Ramsey Clark doesn't run the Justice Department anymore. Did you hear about that? And Mr. Johnson's back home in Texas. Of course, sir. 1 hour before my confirmation hearing gavelled, that's when he resigned. What a prick. It was unprofessional, sir. Unprofessional? It was unpatriotic. And I'll tell you what else. It was impolite. There's a such thing as manners. There's such a thing as manners. I want to bring back manners. How about that? The America I grew up in. Will you help me, Mr. Schultz? Because I asked Mr. Ferran who was the best prosecutor in his office, and he said you. Thank you. Section 2101 of Title 18. That's the federal law that was broken? That's the federal law that was broken. That's the Rap Brown law. Conspiracy to cross state lines in order to incite violence. It comes with a 10-year maximum, and we won all 10. For whom, sir? The All-Star team. Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, Tom Hayden, Rennie Davis, Dave Dellinger, Lee Weiner, John Froines, and Bobby Seale? I call them the schoolboys. And when I do, everyone here knows who I'm talking about. Petulant and dangerous. And we've watched for a decade while these rebels without a job, who've never bothered to get their hands dirty fighting the enemy, tell us how to prosecute a war. The decade's over, the grown-ups are back, and I deem these shitty little fairies to be a threat to national security, so they're going to spend their 30s in a federal facility. Real time. You're lead prosecutor, Richard. You understand why I couldn't tell you until we got here? Sure. Yes, sir. Richard, you're being given the ball. Are you ready to do this? You paid me for my opinion. What? I said, sir, you paid me for my opinion. I said, sir, you paid me for my opinion? Where did you learn that? In class? I pay you to win. I'm not sure we can get a good indictment on conspiracy. Why not? For one thing, some of these people had never met each other. Telephones? Mr. Attorney General, the Rap Brown law was created by Southern whites in Congress to limit the free speech of black activists. Civil rights activists who were coming in from the... I know why it was... Why the fuck is he teaching? It doesn't matter why the law was passed. It matters what it can do. We're not sure what it can do because no one's ever been charged with it. That makes it exciting. It's virgin land, undeveloped real estate. It's a law and they broke it. Of course. Is there a problem? No, sir. Say what you want to say, since apparently I'm paying you for your wisdom. Give me my money's worth. There will be people who will see this as the Justice Department restraining free speech, and there will be people who will see these men as martyrs. There will be people who will see this as the Justice Department restraining free speech, and there will be people who will see these men as martyrs. There will be people who will see this as the Justice Department restraining free speech, and there will be people who will see these men as martyrs. Are any of those people in this room? No, sir. You're 33 and you're about to be named lead prosecutor in the most important trial of your lifetime. You're 33 and you're about to be named lead prosecutor in the most important trial in your lifetime after having been handpicked by the Attorney General. I'm about to do that right now. But before I do, let me ask you, how do you see them? Personally, or in terms of personally? I see them as vulgar, anti-establishment, antisocial, and unpragmatic, but none of those things are indictable. Then imagine how impressed I'll be when you get an indictment. And there's the bigger question, which is, who started the riot? Was it the protesters or was it the police? The police don't start riots. They'll have witnesses who will say they started this one. And you'll dismantle them. And you'll win. Because, Mr. Schultz, that's what's suspected of you. Yes, sir. You didn't show a lot of gratitude in there. On top of everything else, we're giving them exactly what they want. A stage and an audience. The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. You really think it's going to be an audience? The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. Yes, sir. I do. Alright, I'm going to eat. I didn't eat anything yet. We're going to take a break. We got in the groove. That's all. I just want to get in the groove. We're in the groove. We're in the groove. Alright, thank you all for watching. Come back and finish this. So yeah, that's just a project. So did 20 minutes, come back, do another 20 minutes, just break it up, do whatever. You know what I'm saying? 30 minutes at a time. You'll knock it out pretty quickly if you do it like that. You just try to do it like that. I want to be an actor. So just be an actor every day. You know, happen. Just prepare. I am whatever I want to be. So whatever I want to be, I am. I just have to be it. So I want to be an actor. Read a script every day. Every day, read a script on tape. Record yourself, read a script every day. So, if you never become an actor or an actor in a production, if you never get an acting job, basically, this is your acting job. Fuck it. Just do your best on this. And just treat this like the movie. Treat this like the practice. Treat each script as if the movie didn't come out yet. And you're really in the movie. But you're reading it like a Shakespeare play. You're reading every part. Yeah. So, this is the project right now. This one, then I want to do Chadwick Boseman, Get On Up. And then all the Chadwick Boseman films. And I do all of them. Yes, it is, goddammit. Thank y'all for watching.